There we
Yep.
go.
All right, there we go. Hi, Paul.
Hello.
Nice to
Greetings.
meet you.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked. Just
We haven't talked.
texts and stuff.
Yeah. It's actually kinda
Nice.
crazy. I was, like, a little bit nervous to actually have a conversation
Nice.
with you. I kind of am, so
Why?
um, I was actually
Hot.
as I was, like, getting ready for this, I was kind of like, "Why am I nervous to have a conversation with this person?" And I think it's because you are someone that has you're like a name your name and your sort of ethos and your stuff has been floating around my, like, orbit for years now, and so I feel like you're just one of those people that I feel like I know already, but I actually
Mm.
don't. So, yeah.
Yeah, talking to me can disabuse you of me being anything special or this fancy figure. Like I just like connecting with people and like genuinely like building relationships. See, like I feel like you're very similarly wired. You like connecting with people, reaching out and like contributing to the broader ecosystem. So when you reach out, it's like, oh yeah, this will be fun. This is great.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I kind of like the thrill, I think, also, I'm learning. I'm, like, a little bit nervous. I'm like, I kind of I kinda like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you like about making new connections or relationships with people?
Well, we were talking about David White before we connect, where we jumped on this, but he talks about this idea of a conversational nature of reality. And so I feel like I'm in this conversational dance with the world and reality and other people. And so through conversation, I'm able to find like a deep solitude, a deep connectedness, and I'm able to explore kind of the frontier of the questions in my head and the like pushing the territory of my life. Um,
Mm.
I a friend last night said, "You kind of love being in the liminal, the unknown, the uncertainty." And he's like, "Most people hate that. So you can basically hang out there and then just report back for other people." And I think he's right. Yeah, I just love the uncertainty because earlier in my life, there was not enough uncertainty. I
Mm.
knew where I was headed and it drove me mad.
Yeah. That's really interesting, and, I was just reading, one of your recent essays, Reclaim the Book, which is so good. But I there was a line that you wrote that, like, really struck me. You said, "I am someone who must move in the direction of my beliefs," which I think is kind of, like, core to your book and all of your work and just sort of like your whole thing is
Yeah.
about that and helping other people, like, see different weird, unique, interesting ways to do that, and I'm just curious, like, how did you become that way, and how has it changed since you started the work that you do?
I think it's been my whole life. I get a question in my head and I have to explore it. I think go back to freshman year of college, me and my friend were talking about we're in chemistry class, first or second week of school. And we realized that every lecture is just a repeat of what he posts online after. And so we were like, we should just skip the entire semester." And that question was just like, that's so interesting. What if I skip the entire semester? How will I do? So I did. Um, so I skipped the entire semester and got a B plus. I probably could have done better, but I was not
Not bad for
actively
skipping,
engaged
yeah.
with the class. But yeah, I've always been this way. I think what changed is that the story others projected on me changed.
Mm.
And when I was in the default path container, people were like, "Oh, he's successful. He's got it figured out. He's just like us." But for example, when I applied, like, I applied into consulting firms my senior year of college. I got rejected from every single one. I applied to over 100, pretty much any I could find on the internet at the time. And I talked to this senior partner at Parthenon Group. I got connected through a family friend, and he's like, "Yeah, we don't hire people like you. I went to UConn. It was not what they called a target school." I was like, "Well, that's dumb. I can definitely um, work there." And so I didn't take the rejections as evidence that I should stop trying. I just waited 6 months until the year on my resume could say like another year. So
Mm,
then I applied again. I applied to 100 firms again, and by some like miracle, I got hired by like the top firm, and which is still like wild to this day. But yeah, I've always like looked for the side doors, the different ways in. Uh, I like pushing the edges of reality. And the great thing about after I quit my job is that it's just way more normal and natural to do that. I
mhm,
don't need to
totally.
quit a job to get another job. I can just create another job today if I want.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting. I feel similarly about, like, making connections and about networking and, like, specifically reaching out. There's just so many rules that well, first of all, the vast majority of people don't like exclude themselves from it altogether, which is crazy. But I think the reason why is because there are so many rules that feel uncomfortable or transactional or just like make us feel terrible and we don't want to, we're already so like overstimulated and tired and busy, and it's like the last thing we want to do is participate in this activity that like makes us feel shitty. Um and I think it is like so much of the reason why I've kind of fallen in love with this work of like reaching out to people is like I think it's like just insane the fact that we have so much access to interesting people, and we have all the opportunity in the world to reach out to a stranger, and the idea that two strangers could meet because one person is like bold enough to reach out and extend beyond themselves is like that just blows my mind, and I always want to be that person, and I love just knowing that there's like so much possibility when you put yourself out there. But I also think I've become kind of obsessed with like breaking the rules and bending the lines, and like exactly what you're saying about not attending the entire semester. It's like, what if I did the opposite of every networking rule that exists and saw what happened?
This this is how so I think many people are interested in breaking the rules, but they're interested in breaking the rules to aim up,
Mm,
either for more money, more status, more success. And so the even more interesting thing for me is to like do the opposite of that. So
mm,
this is the pathless path is like, well, what if I didn't build my life around work? What if I didn't build my life around success? And I
yeah,
take those questions incredibly seriously. And my conclusion is that like 99% of people just don't want to do that. They want to be in the flow of what other people are doing. Like there's been a rise of like these entrepreneurial dudes who are like this phrase reject the default path has become a lot more popular. But
totally.
it's become reject the default path to make more money.
Yes.
Um and so in 2018 I started creating online, and I realized the big driver for me was to share other people's stories, to make friends. And I would hear on a podcast, people would be like, the thing about working for yourself is you got to block off your time. You got to know your worth. You got to know your value. If anyone wants access to you, you time block your calendar, you charge for access, and just go to like intro.com and you'll find like all these like people that are charging like hundreds of
Insane
dollars for a
amount. Crazy.
15-minute call. Like I can't charge for a 15-minute call because it's not enough time. I need to spend longer with people, and I'm going to do it for free if I can. Um, so I decided I would do this curiosity conversation, and I would just have an open calendar every week. And I would just keep writing, sharing online. Anyone could book it with me every Wednesday. No rules. Just book it, and I'll talk to you for 45 minutes. And so I had 383 of those conversations over, I think, 3 or 4 years, and
Mhm.
it was life-changing for me because it was this conversational dance of what like you're exploring this new territory of ideas. I was incredibly curious and just like, what is going on with work? Why does it feel so weird? Why, when I quit my job, does it feel like I'm a bad person? Why do people
Mhm.
project all their fears and insecurities on me? And so I started exploring these things earnestly and honestly, and people would reach out and be like, "Oh my God, Paul, I've never read something like this. It's telling me something back that I always felt." And people would have these conversations with me, and then I'd be like, "That's crazy. Like, you're dealing with this crazy situation, you're having all these thoughts." I'm like, "Who have you told?" They're like, "Oh, I can't talk about this with anyone." And so I realized talking about work was, like, even more taboo than sex in our culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so shameful to not like your job, especially if you were in a, like, impressive job. And so people would just tell man on the internet, "Paul." And I was in this conversational dance of all these ideas and reflecting back in my writing, and the pathless path directly emerged out of that.
Wow.
And and so I was in what people were actually thinking and engaged with it and taking it seriously. Versus there's a completely different approach people take with content, which is to like give validity to the algorithm.
Mm.
The algorithm is not directly tied with like what people are actually thinking. It is something slightly different. It's like people's repressed desires, their insecurities, their angers, their projections, all these things. And that's just not interesting to me. So
Yeah.
if you want to get a ton of views in an algorithm, tell people they can make a lot of money or be for guys, be chiseled and like jacked or like crush all your business goals.
Yeah.
um, or tell people you suck, you're not good enough, you need this better
Yeah, it's
system
like it's the
to
clickbait,
improve.
whatever version of some polarizing idea. Yeah.
And it definitely generates more emotion, but it doesn't resonate with people in a deeply true way. And what I found in my own life and reflecting is I would sit with questions sometimes for months, sometimes for years, and they would sort of percolate in my body, in my system, in my like subconscious. And a new self would slowly be born. And
Mm.
that's the kind of true ideas I've always been interested in. And the challenge is they're not as viral. So my entire path was how do I fund this life to keep exploring writing and ideas and conversations with all my time for free, for fun, forever.
Yeah.
Um, and that's still pretty much my orientation. Like I made a decent amount from books and a course I run on consulting skills over this past year. And then how I spent my time was mostly exploratory.
Yeah.
One, exploring my edge as a parent and who I can be as a parent. And then two, like I've been doing more conversations with people because I realized once I became a parent, I started time boxing my time a little too much. And
Yeah.
I decided I needed to get a little more inefficient with my time and do some of the exploratory conversations and stuff.
I love the idea of being more inefficient. You just don't hear enough people talking about that. I mean, as
Because
yeah.
the the base energy of our culture is you need to be accomplishing more to be a good person.
Mm.
This is like a core assumption in our culture. And you have to assess that first to figure out then what you're going to do. And the much easier thing is to like constantly tell people you're not doing enough. And people are like, oh, yeah, they're right. Because I feel bad all the time because
Right.
our culture already tells us I'm not doing enough or achieving enough.
Mm.
And it's just silly. There's nothing to be done.
That's really beautiful. I need to just listen to that on repeat. Um, yeah, I think what you're speaking to also is just like just such a reminder of like the actual long game. And I've been thinking a lot about the future lately because, again, like another thing about that I have learned in my own practice of reaching out to people and exploring how to break all the rules of networking is like so many people approach networking from a place of desperation, of like efficiency, of like emergency. I need a job, I need a client, I need this thing now. And I think one of the big questions is like, well, what if I was like really using this to play the long game of just like knowing that relationships are the thing that make up our lives and connections are the most interesting and amazing opportunities we can pursue. It's like it's the practice in itself actually that um is so worthwhile. And I've been doing a good amount of thinking about like, how do I use networking to plant the seeds for opportunities that might open up or might not in 5 or 10 or 30 years, which is it feels like such an antidote to so much of the content that I've seen around, all of the tools and experiences that currently exist around networking, which is just about more and now.
Yeah, I think the base of it is like many people feel bad about not doing enough or not being successful enough or not achieving enough. And you don't it like everyone's fine. Like you don't need to be achieving to be a good person.
Mm.
I think having kids puts this in perspective too.
Yeah.
Like my daughter doesn't care what I've achieved.
Oh, good.
We just danced in a mirror for like half an hour this morning.
Uh,
And so, yeah, I've already won the day.
yeah.
It's Yeah, and I wanna be a voice for, like, reminding people that, like, you don't need to do that. I could and I see the incentives. I could literally make more money if I adopted some of this hustle language. My
Mhm.
ideas would go more viral, but then I'd also attract the people I don't wanna serve.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I have been winding down my calls. I'm actually starting a mini sabbatical tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh my god, amazing.
But I agreed to do this because I don't even think you're playing a long game. I just think you are curious about conversations
Yeah, I think so too. I think
and you
I like
find
the
them
idea of
interesting.
I do,
And
yeah,
so to me, it's like, oh, somebody that takes conversation seriously. And like,
yeah.
that's enough.
I know, it's hard to, like, admit that to myself though even, that is enough, because there are some insane, like, outcomes and opportunities that come from it, but I think the core, like, reason for doing it is just because I love it, and that's enough.
I think the greatest challenge in life is figure out how to show up as yourself and not show up as yourself in this like very surface level. I'm going to be an asshole to people because like that's just me being me. I think we've almost embraced that too much as authenticity, but show up as yourself in this like deeply powerful way that when people see it, they're like, "Oh wow, that person is like showing up in this deeply true way." And I I've been on this path for 8.5 years, and I've had so many stretches of not being myself or getting away from myself. And the challenge is just like as my friend Johnny Miller says, he has this phrase, remember, forget, remember.
Mm.
Um, you have to continually remember who you are. So I think with the book sales, I had a lot of impressive names as you called them at the beginning, reach out to me. And you start getting in these like transactional relationships of, hey, you promote my book, I'll promote your book. And I couldn't do it in an authentic way.
Mm.
So in the last 6 months, I've been leaning more into the readers of my book, which I love, my community, having more conversations like this and remembering, oh, this is me showing up with that certain kind of energy, feels more natural. Maybe it's not smart for my business, but this is an energy I can sustain. And if that's the life I actually want to live, that's worth it no matter what. And so it's continually coming back to that.
That's so beautiful. I mean, I'm sure this is not the reason then, because this is talking about an energy you can sustain. But Rachel, hi Rachel, put in the chat asking about your sabbatical being because of burnout. So, what? Tell us more about your sabbatical.
No, I haven't come close to burnout since quitting my job.
That's
That's
amazing.
basically been like a core goal is like I want to design my life around never burning out. And so I've really become attuned to doing the activities I want to do. I'm incredibly blessed in that I have a range of things I love doing. Most of the things I like doing. The challenge with that is I have too many things I'm doing in addition to being like half-time to full-time parent.
Hmm.
And so my preference would be to like continue to spend a lot of time and be around a lot for my daughter and not just like go home for work. Like um I'd say for the last 3 years, on average, I've had stretches where I've worked more. I've probably worked 2 or 3 days a week, 4 to 5 hours a day. And so the challenge for me is I've been doing too many small little things. And so I'll use those 4 to 5 hours and I'm not like accomplishing the like bigger things that are pulling me, like a book.
Mm.
I love writing a book. And so I think the sabbatical for me is sort of a reset and sort of like it helps me like unwind a lot of the things I was doing. And then I can like restart them in a month and a
Mhm.
half. Or just see how I'm doing. It's also a way for me to practice non work and see what emerges. I mean, for a parent, there's no such thing as a sabbatical. Like, my life's probably going to be more challenging because, like, working is very easy compared to taking care of a 3-year-old.
Totally.
How old is your?
Jonah just turned 1 last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first year was like surprisingly easy because we had a
Yeah.
good sleeper.
Okay, that's good.
2 to 3 years old, wow, it's so much more challenging.
I'm scared.
Just like the energy demands.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I completed my second book as my daughter was turning 18 months. And then I
Mm,
think after that, it's just been incredibly hard to do it all. And so I've had to do way less.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, figuring it out. My wife was also focused on her book for the last year and a half. So I've been like lead parent. So yeah, it's just unwinding things and resetting and it's just life experimenting. I know need to try stuff when I'm in a steady state of doing things the same way. I need to try stuff. Um, Also, I am joining this thing called the Traveling Village tomorrow for the next 4.5 months, which is 20 families in 3 countries uh, where we're just going to be co-living for the next 4.5
How
months.
does
I
that
don't know if
work?
I mentioned this to you.
I thought that this was part of the sabbatical. How does it work? How does it what do you mean?
So this guy, Nikolai Astrov, you can go to travelingvillage.com and see his experiment. He self-organized this group. They did Traveling Village 1, which was a year ago, and it was 3 countries in Asia, 20 families from around the world, where they just co-live and self-organize their own like traveling camp. It's a lot of like self-employed parents, unschooling parents, uh, alternatively employed parents, and so yeah, I have no idea what to expect. It's a big question mark for me, and I think I want to create space for that experiment and learn from other parents how they're raising their kids. There's going to be different ages, so I can learn from different ages and say more. Um, yeah, so I mean, as I'm talking about this, I realize my life sounds so insane, but
Totally.
all this feels like very normal to me. Like I'm on the roof of Yeah, I'm on the roof of a building in Da Nang, Vietnam right now.
Yeah, when we,
Sh
when we before I pressed go live, Paul was like, "Hold on, I just need to find the floor." I was like, "What?"
we can
Oh my
yeah, we can,
god,
like,
that's
do a
crazy.
walking
Yeah,
tour.
great.
I don't know if we'll be able to see, but,
That's
um,
insane.
yeah, it's,
That's amazing.
but yeah, I've been living in Asia since April. My wife is from Taiwan. I met her after, I quit my job and sort of surrendered to not having a plan, and
Mm,
so once you surrender to not having a plan and then you fall in love with the woman you marry, you can't
mhm.
really
Can't go back.
plan too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't trust plans that much. Like, if I'm not open to like serendipity and magic emerging, it's probably something a little off.
Mm, wow. That's insane and amazing and so wild. I do have a couple of questions, specific questions. Let's get to our questions 28 minutes in. Okay, okay. Um, this is actually a question from Sasha Chapin. I asked him
Specifically for me, or
specifically for you. I said, "Hey, I'm chatting with Paul Millard. Do you have any questions that you would want to ask?" So shout
and
out Sasha.
Sasha is just like, man, he won't take credit, but
I know.
he's like a magician.
He
Like, the
is.
writing coaching he gave me on Pathless Path was like this, like, laser beam to like the soul of exactly what I needed to hear at the exact right time. It was like so genius. And so, yeah, I'm indebted to that man. I think yeah, his first book's also a
First
delightfully
book.
fun to read as well.
Yes, yes. Yeah, oh yeah, his first book is. Yes, it is. Um, yeah, it's you know I met him through a reach out. Um, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, he's been my mentor for the past year. It's been I feel like
That's great.
I have literally changed from the inside out because of my work with him. It's amazing. But this is the question from Sasha to you. That question is, who is the best at reaching out you know, and what can we learn from that person?
Good question. Trying to think. I think there's been so many people I've connected with. I think I'm so open to connecting with people. I think it's more of a stance of curiosity than like any sort of technique. I think there are two approaches that work remarkably well. One is you start contributing and start engaging in spaces around me before you're reaching out. And
Mm,
then I'm like curious about people that are contributing without like hidden motives or something like that. And so I think you're an example of this. Like, you're doing this experiment, and I saw other people talking about you. People posted your experiment in our community a couple months ago.
so
And I was like,
cool.
that's awesome. I love that. And she appears to be doing it with a spirit of generosity. And then like when that kind of person reaches out, it's very easy to say yes. And so one is just like contribute to the worlds or ecosystems you're um a part of first, right? And so I love that because people are already contributing to something versus like, hey, will you give me advice on this?
Mm,
Um, two is they've read a lot of my stuff. And so I get people reaching out and they'll say, like, hey, I'm thinking about quitting my job. Can you give me some advice? Or can we jump on a call? And I'll just say, have you read my book yet? Because I put like so much thinking
of
into my
course.
book. And they'll be like, no, I'll check it out. And then they never come back to me. But if some people do come back with like deeper questions, that's great because it's generative for me and they're engaging with my work and it helps me go deeper. I think third is people can do something for you. Uh, so um, Like, people will reach out trying to get a job from me all the time now.
Hmm,
And so, like, hey, are you looking for somebody to acquire leads for you? You looking for somebody to edit videos for you? Are you looking for somebody to um, do all these things? If you want to work for someone, just do free work for them. And that sounds terrible because you're like, oh, that shouldn't be true. Like, you should be paid for work. The problem is, I don't have any attention like to give. And so you're asking me to do something I'm not currently doing. And so
right.
one of this clips guy a few years ago, he sent me 3 really good clips from my podcast that were like really thoughtful. And he's like, "Hey, I just want you to have these." I've paid that person like over $1,000 now to like do clips for me. Because he was like, "Do you want me to do more?" I'm like, "Yes. How much? What do you charge? Like,
Totally.
let me pay you." Um, and so yeah, yeah, no like one person jumps to mind. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's all just this like spirit of contribution and
Mhm.
generosity that I really resonate with. So look at like how people are showing up in the world, and you have to like mirror back their energy,
Totally.
right? Like if you want to connect with like a grade A hustle bro, probably not this generous spirit thing. You probably want to be like demonstrating economic value to them because
Totally.
that's how they'll respond.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out who you're trying to connect with and like you need to mirror similar values.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I think, I've been letting myself be informed by a lot of my theater training. Basically, I started my career as a performer and then pivoted to tech in COVID. And I mean, just even hearing you describe this idea of like listening and forgetting and coming back to yourself, and this whole idea that like life is just about figuring out how to be who you are. um, I have been leaning into all of the insane similarities and overlaps between my training as an artist and everything I know about this like professional networking world. And it's been incredible to be able to explore like, okay, how does like my training in the Suzuki method impact how I'm connecting with people? And
Yeah, how
similar to what
does
you're
it?
saying. Yeah,
What
how
is the
does it?
Suzuki method? Can
I'm
you
glad you
I mean
asked.
you can't rhetorically ask that and not tell us.
Well, Suzuki method is so there's like a lot of techniques that actors will learn that are kind of like staples in the theater world, the like serious theater world. Suzuki is one of those methods. It actually started as like a music training program, which is all about how basically this guy in Japan, Tadashi Suzuki, created this method that essentially is about how children can learn musical instruments without reading music, but by spending time in ensemble and by repetition, and basically using movement to learn musical instruments. And
Mm.
it was sort of adapted, I think in the 70s, for theater and for Shakespeare. And essentially, the idea is that through ensemble and like moving together as a group, and these very all of this repetition, essentially, like you just do the same shit over and over and over again, slow movements, looking around. You essentially feel more in your body and you're able to communicate and be present in the moment with your scene partner. And it was extremely impactful for me as a young actor. And it was the one, there's like a bunch of different techniques, but it was the one thing that I was like, there's something in this. And I've been like, I was just so obsessed with it as an actor. And now, as a person who works behind my computer most of the day, and as someone who's exploring how to break the box around how we communicate and meet each other and find interesting opportunities, I'm like, I am so fascinated by the fact that, like, it's all just about listening and understanding, who someone is. You have to really understand who someone is, or at least attempt to, before you connect with them. And it is unbelievable how little we do that. And most of us do that when we go to reach out to someone. And it comes from a state of like 90% about you and then like 10% about them. We don't really do a ton of thinking about, where is this person in the world? What might they be thinking right now? And how can I just listen for a moment before I shoot off this email? And it's become such a just a really cool practice in redefining my own routines around how I approach networking and share that with others.
Yeah, it's really powerful. I think so. Asking for help is really hard for me.
Mm,
Uh, I like, I've probably spent 98% of my energy like trying to help people behind me. And I think that leads to a lot of my books and stuff getting um, resonating with people and my writing resonating with people. But I really struggle either connecting. I'm okay with peers, but I struggle with people ahead of me. I feel, I think I've been working through like I have a lot of judgments of myself when I'm reaching out to these people,
mm,
or I feel bad of like, I don't want to reach out and waste people's time. I really value people, so I struggle to asked for help from other people. My entire life, I think, is built around like generating a lot of energy. So, like, people will come help me without me having to ask.
mm,
And so, yeah, I think last year somebody was challenging me, or 2 years ago somebody challenged me. It's like, just like reach out to people. Like, he's like, your book is so good. Like, just reach out to like some big podcasters and like try to pitch people. Um, and none of it went anywhere. Um,
mm,
And I think part of it was, even when I'm writing the email, I'm showing up from like a fear standpoint. Like, I don't want people to judge me. I'm also scared of losing myself. I don't want to engage with people who are playing these transactional modes. I don't want to have to owe people who I don't believe in support. And I really struggle with this. And so I find it very hard. I think a lot of people are performing in ways that are not actually them too.
mm.
And so, I don't know, do you have any thoughts on this? Like,
Oh my god. I have so many thoughts. I mean, I wish you would literally just say that in an email. I think, first of all, choosing the right
that's
people,
smart.
just say that. I mean, this is choosing the right people is such a huge part of it because, yeah, you don't want to owe people that are playing these transactional games or that you don't believe in, then leave those people out. I think that
Yeah, yeah.
there's so many. I mean, there's just an endless amount of interesting, creative, generous people who actually like it would be a gift for you to reach out and ask for help from them, like that is there's so much mutual overlap and benefit that you can get when you connect with the right person at the right time or even the wrong time. But I think it's really just like it's being completely embarrassingly honest, and that obviously goes against so many of the rules that we have been taught to learn about networking, which is that you should assert your competence first and come across in a whatever certain way, when actually it's like it can be so powerful to say to someone, I've been meaning to reach out to you for a year and I haven't because I'm afraid, you know, or whatever it is that is like actually real and honest for you. I often will, if if I am reaching out to someone, I will just like literally check in with how I am feeling in that exact moment. There's so many times where I sit down at my computer, I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna say to this person? It's a lot of like it's a lot of energy. It can be a lot of energy. Um, and I think that it can be so powerful just to like say the thing that you are actually really feeling or thinking. And it's amazing how that disarms the person on the other side. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, like, so rare to get an email like that, right? It's actually beautiful to receive.
Yeah, I think part of me in my head is saying now, like, a lot of the people would, like I find it this is why I love my readers, and um and smaller creators and stuff. I find it just so many more people are down to earth. I think a lot of people who have, like, really crushed it and succeeded
Mm,
are not, um, resonant with that sort of energy, actually.
mm,
Um, and I think I'm trying to transcend that in my own life.
yeah,
I do have a bit of an audience now, and I'm just really trying to stay true to, like, these principles I care about.
mm,
There are so many of these, like, more transactional relationships, and they just are transactional. And, like, to enter them, you need to be in this, like yeah, I've found this in many aspects of my life. In my first career, when you get to the higher rungs of the corporate world, it's this extremely transactional surface level game you have to participate in. And I just found myself in despair and I had to leave. I'm finding that a little in the creator world as well. Um, I don't have a good answer for it, but it's a question I have. I
mm.
think reaching out and being vulnerable does work to a point. I think the most successful people are successful because a lot of them have left that mode. And that's
Mm,
just like a harsh reality of the world.
yeah.
I don't know.
I
Maybe
mean,
I'm wrong.
yeah, I think it's just, like, an interesting question that is like, yeah, maybe you are wrong and maybe you're not, but we can only just, like, kind of keep going and find out, I guess. You also, in your essay that you wrote about reclaiming the book, I think just the story of, like, you meeting with these publishers is, like, fascinating, and wild, but
It's so
yeah,
crazy. I think when your opportunities increase, it is so much harder to stay true to like that sense of aliveness and curiosity.
but even, like,
Because
in yeah, go ahead.
even just working in like I mean, I have a lot of sensitivity to this because I spent 10 years studying organizational change and doing organizational consulting and seeing in hundreds of organizations and working in multiple different firms myself. I think it's so hard to find a small group of people that deeply care about things. And
Mm,
I actually don't know how to do this beyond myself. This is like a huge edge for myself to like expand the sphere of projects. I've done a little dabbling this year. We put out a zine as part of like the Pathless Collective, but I don't know how to do anything at scale with like this super all in caring mode. I
mm.
don't know. It's like that's an open question for the next chapter of my life and
I love that's an
path.
amazing question to have, and also I feel like there's a point where when you get maybe successful enough, whatever that, like, threshold is, there you cross this barrier of, like, you should be the expert, you should be the one with all of the answers, and I think something so fascinating about and maybe so key to staying, core to your own values and your own path is just, like, not knowing how to do shit and, like, asking questions and not knowing the answer. That's I think that is kind of unique and rare.
Yeah, I like not knowing. It's more interesting than knowing.
It
I
is.
think I have these dual desires. I think while I was writing my book, I had all these questions and doubt. I was like, I must be missing something. And then every week I'd learn something a little more. And it's like, no, I'm not missing anything. It really is this easy. You write a Word doc, you turn it into a PDF, and then you upload it, and then you have a book. Like it's a little more complicated than that, but it's not that much more complicated. And then like, oh, how do you become a publisher of books? You just declare yourself a publisher. There's no test, there's no certification. Like, sure, like you don't even need an LLC. There's a thing called doing business as, and you can just like you can file a form with Texas. I'm registered in Texas. Like, you don't need an LLC to do this. You can do a DBA, and a DBA will set you up as the sole proprietor. You're just like a human doing work under your social security number. You can get a DBA for $25 for 10 years. And you just call yourself Pathless Publishing, and now you're a publisher. And all you have to do is write in the text Pathless Publishing. But you don't even need that. When you're registering for ISBNs, you just type in whatever letters you want. If you want to be ABCDX123 and your book to say published by ABDCX123, it will happen. Like, it's all fictions in our head. And I think the more questions I ask, like, it's all stories all the way down.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
And we're just making shit up. Like, and there's no difference between a traditionally published book and a self published book. They're just books. I can print the book from a printer and call it a book too. It's just we have a story that, like, oh, that's not a real book.
Mm.
I'd have to go get a certain kind of binding and a certain heaviness paper, and then people would be like, "Oh, okay, a book."
This is a book. Okay, book. Yeah, it's actually I think it's the reason why I do this, like, networking mastermind twice a year. It's called Reach Out Party, and, um, it's like a ton of work for me to do, like, it it is a labor of love for sure, but I think that the reason why I do it is because networking is something traditionally we do alone, unless we're, like, at an event that we feel uncomfortable at, and then we're still alone inside of our own bodies. But it's like, did when you're reaching out to someone, it's you behind your computer, your phone, and something that's so, like, magical about reach out party is basically it's like a small cohort of people that get together and, like, just explore like all the fiction that we have in front of us, and like how to kind of break it apart or play with it or bend it. And I do it because, like, I learn so much about all of the different ways that we can communicate and connect in, ways that, like, I wouldn't have been able to see alone. And that's what it is to, make things you care about or make things with people. It's just like discovering, how to do it in a way that's enjoyable.
Yeah, that's great. I should probably join one of those. I
You
think
should
I've been
join.
to a lot of my path. I quit my job and I realized I didn't want another job. I didn't want to be burned out. So I designed everything around not ending up with a job again and not burning out. And so the best way to do that was to just remain independent and like not hire people, not build something. Because when it's just me, I can like cancel my plans and do whatever I want most days. And so
Yeah.
that's been amazing. I love that. I love the lack of structure, not having a plan, being able to do whatever I want. And yeah, that works. But I still remain like hyper independent.
Mm.
And I think there's probably a shadow side of that of like, um, yeah, when you're reaching out to people, all these insecurities come up. And so, oh, I'm not good enough. Like who's going to want to connect with me? I feel bad taking all the time. But it's like a psychotechnology. It helps you
Yeah,
work through those, right? Because it's mostly you, because I
totally.
realize I have people reaching out to me all the time. And like some of the most successful names you see out there, like some of the biggest creators with massive audiences, they have no shame.
Totally.
They reach out to everyone in every direction, and they use all their power and all their, and it's like, Oh my god. This goes back to what I was saying before, like, some of the people that are most successful, like, they're playing a different mode. They're playing a more
Yeah, yeah,
transactional,
100%.
mercenary mode, and I don't wanna play that, but you also realize, like, oh, they have a lightness to this. They don't have all that
Mm,
insecurity they're showing up with. So it actually helps them because they're genuinely just like,
yeah.
they assume everyone wants to connect with them.
Exactly. Yeah, that is an interesting point of just, like, just finding your own version of, like, the light what is the lightness that you can create in whatever version of that you want. I also someone just, made a comment about, like, the silence that can happen when you reach out to people and how, that can almost be, like, harder than, like, rejection, because it is sort of this, like I guess it could be taken as this, like, judgment, and I do think I totally agree. I feel like rejection is way better than, like, just being ignored, because there is still sort of like an open door for something in the future, but I just think it's like the nature of I don't know.
I don't
What do
mind
you
being
think?
ignored.
Tell me more.
I actually respect being ignored. I tell people because I'm like, I'm worthless when it comes to replying to emails and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I didn't reply to you for like a few weeks, I
Yeah,
think.
it's true. That's true. And you know what? I didn't you're right. I didn't think like, "Oh god, this guy's judging me." I was ignored. I was kind of like, "Oh yeah, he's busy probably."
Yeah, I have a kid now, and, like, it's just so hard to do anything. I'm just dropping the ball and stuff left and right, so I just picture everyone dropping the ball and stuff left and right, and
I like
so,
that.
yeah, I think email too has just become this, like, medium that, like, people just ignore. Like,
Yeah.
texting is where you get people's attention now.
Mm.
Email is just like I if anyone's ever emailed me and I haven't replied, just, like, send another email. Jeez, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You should definitely just you can send me 5 emails. I will eventually reply, but it literally might be like a year later.
Mm, yeah, I love that. I like the idea of again, it's like just changing your, or creating like a lightness to it, you know? It's like, yeah, I actually respect being ignored, and now I'm like, "Oh yeah, me too."
Yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, if you wanna, like, work with me and spend time with me and have me pay you, like, I'm looking for somebody that can, like, help package and ship and finish my books.
Yeah,
So if you
yeah,
have that unique skill, I'm
that's
happy to,
great.
like, pay you to hang out with me. Um So I think this is part of my exercise of like, how do I expand the sphere of
Yeah.
like working with other people and not just like trying to put everything on myself?
Well,
Yeah,
I love
parents equal ball droppers. If
yeah,
anyone who
totally.
has young kids, like,
You're off the
God
hook
bless you.
forever. Yeah.
Man, like, parenting is so hard.
It's so hard. I feel like I haven't even begun yet.
People are like, when are you going to write a pathless parenting book? I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I only have one kid. So I have no clue what the next one will be like. Man, that parenting's nuts.
It's absolutely nuts. I am still surprised that I have a kid. Sometimes I'm like,
I
well,
totally understand.
I mean, yeah, and I got pregnant on accident, so I spent the entire 9 months being like, "What? What?" And now, still literally a year later, I'm kind of like sometimes I'm like, "There's a kid sleeping in my house. That's my kid."
It's so weird. I think like
It's so weird.
I'm writing an essay about this. I'm struggling to finish, but as I approach 3 years, I'm like, oh, I think I'm like finally finding my groove. And I've spent more time parenting than most parents. And so it's taken a long time.
Wow. That's amazing. Um,
Yeah. Justin just replied, it's still tough. And I know he has
yeah.
older kids.
I love these comments. This is so good. Wait, there is one thing. I have 2 questions left for you, and
Yeah.
one of them is So but in your okay, back to your essay about reclaiming the book and walking away from this, like, weird meeting with publishers, there is something interesting you shared at the end of the essay, which is, um, I needed to be bolder. I needed to keep going forward in my own way. If the industry wasn't going to obsess over the details and care about the book in the way that felt right, then I would do it myself. And I'm like, what does that look like for you right now?
Well, you've seen my hardcover.
Yeah, but, like, what does it look like for you, like, right now after it's you've done that?
Yeah, so I think two things. One is I do think I think one of the failure modes of modern life is sort of surrendering your idea of achievement to society's idea or what you think other people are saying of society and saying, like, oh, I need to be achieving or accomplishing things to be moving forward. I think that is a failure mode for many. I
Mhm.
think, however, we do need this sense of progress. I think there's this, like, it's been talked about through all history. It's sort of this, like, this sense of you need to be on a slipstream of energy moving towards something, right? And
Yeah.
so I think after I launched my book, I was sort of struggling to see what that emergent next step was like. Everyone asks you as soon as you finish a book, are you going to write another book? And for the year after I finished my book, it was mostly, I don't know. But as soon as I had this experience, I knew I deeply cared about the book. And so I could move myself in that direction and also take my work more seriously. So I think my aim is to take my work seriously, not myself seriously. I'm just a fool. Like, who the hell cares who Paul Millard is? But I really care about the craft of sentences, the form, the like taking it seriously. Like, what does it look like to care about work? And caring in a world that tells you not to care is just like really challenging. And so
Yeah.
that is me being able to move in a direction um, that's different. Now, what does that look like? I think the emergent thing for me is publishing other people's work. And I don't know how to do that yet. I want to I, I want to help put books in the world that wouldn't otherwise exist without me being able to shepherd them. And it's a terrible business idea. It's a terrible way to make money. I don't even know if I'll do it for money. I might just do it for fun, for free. Um, but that is the most interesting question to me because I've had probably, I don't know, maybe 100 people at this point say, like, oh, you inspired me to write a book on my own terms. And that's amazing. This is why I love like dunking on traditional publishing. That has probably cost me a lot because it really triggers the hell out of these other people who are published by traditional publishing, like some of these bigger names.
Mm.
It probably triggers them. It probably annoys them. Um, Probably makes them uncomfortable. But I don't care about them. They're already crushing it. I care about the people that are the insecure people like me sharing early on their journey and like scared to hit publish. That was me in 2015, 2016, 2017. So afraid, so nervous, so anxious. I want to help those people and say, like, you can do it. And so
Ugh.
when Megan's saying fuck traditional publishing, but um,
If this is the Megan
yeah.
I think it is, it's my sister-in-law, and she works in publishing. But she's one of
Shout
the
out
good
Megan.
ones. Shout out Megan, if that's you.
There's great people in the industry, but they're all at the junior level, and they're all at risk of
There you go.
becoming cynical because it's the machine. It's not the people. The people in publishing are amazing because they actually care about books. I love those people, um,
Yeah.
and so everyone cares about books. Authors care about books. People in publishing care about books, but the system just doesn't work for people. It generates cynicism at scale, and
Mm.
so when I um and some of the higher up people in the industry are legit psychopaths. There's definitely a lot of weird stuff happening in that industry. But I want to motivate the people that are like, oh, I could never write a book.
Mm,
The fact is, I came from a background. My parents didn't go to college. I didn't go to elite schools for undergrad. If I graduated 30 years ago, there's no chance in hell I ever would have written a book because you needed permission from the gatekeepers. And I don't look like the right kind of person that the gatekeepers like pre social media. And so the internet's changed all that. It's
mm.
literally a PDF. I might create a book that's called literally a PDF and put all my
Please.
writings about it. Literally a PDF. You have my permission to write a book, declare yourself publisher, um, and just ship it. Um, don't listen to the voices that, oh, it's not a real book if it's self published. Like, that's a lot of projection of insecurities people have. You can do it. You can write a book, and I care about people that want to put stuff in a book form. Yeah, Quinn, who's responding now, he declared himself publisher and wrote his own book a few years ago. I love
Declared.
that.
I love it. That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah. So yeah, I love the early creators, the people that want to share their ideas with the world. We need more positive voices. A lot of people look at all the loud voices that are screaming at us, the Hormozis, um, the Mel Robbins who are just
Mm,
blasting us with endless content. Um, you look at them,
blasting.
I don't want to be like them. That's the instinct you should listen to. That's great. I don't want to be like them either. That's the reason you should create and share your ideas with the world.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. I love it. I'm hooked. I'm ready. Everyone's in. I can't wait to read this PDF. Um,
Li-
and
it's going
one
to be
of
a book, but that's the
it's gonna be a
title of the
book.
book. Literally a
Literally a
PDF.
PDF. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a book. Literally PDF. I love it. One of the, like, most non-traditional books I've, read that has, like, these just books that stick with you is, Jenny Slate's book, Little Weirds, and, it's really
I don't know
informed.
it.
It's really good. It's really weird, and, I just love I love that, and one of the things that she said in her book that has informed a lot of it's the name informed the name of my Substack is she says, "When people get a glimpse of me, I would like for them to feel like it's a good omen." And
Ooh,
I
that's nice.
it's
That's
just
poetic.
it's really nice, and that feeling is the way that I approach my networking practice too, of just, like, when I reach out to people, my main goal, it would be lovely if they felt like, "Oh, this is a good omen to receive an email like this," and I think it keeps me, grounded in, like, my just, like, joy and spirit of connection and just putting myself out there even when it's scary and weird and I'm feeling insecure, and, but one thing about, good omens is that everyone has such a different, like, and cool definition, and I would love to know how would you define a good omen?
I think what I try to do in my writing, like I want people to feel good. I think a big theme in my writing is you can actually feel good about work. And that probably takes some letting go and detaching and creating space in your life. But um, I try to plant that energy in my writing. I try to work in that energy of actually liking what I do and having a positive spirit. And I think creative acts are transmissions of energy.
Mm,
And so I see so much in the creative world that like reflecting back this feeling of you're not good enough is incredibly effective. And I try to explore all the territory in my life and the questions and the ways to use language to like find different ways that where that doesn't have to be true. And so I think I'm trying to like plant those questions and it gets back to like David White, this conversational nature of reality. And so
mm.
like, yeah, I need to think more about like good omen, but I think I'm trying to like plant an energy that you can like, I'm gonna take a little of that and it's gonna help me see in slightly different ways because I really think there's magic all around us, but you need some sort of like portal to see it. And so I want my writing to be a portal to that different way of seeing. I
Mm.
think David White's writing was that portal for me.
Absolutely same.
I discovered the phrase "the pathless path" in his book,
No
and
way. I didn't know
once
that.
I saw it, his book, "The Three Marriages," which my friend I met. John, do you know who Johnny Miller is?
Yes, I do.
Johnny Miller,
Shout out.
I met randomly in 2018. We had this amazing conversation, and then I had like no friends on my path at this point. The next day, he walks up to me, hands me David White's book, "The Three Marriages." He's like, "You need this.
Mm.
You're gonna like this." And the book changed my life. The pathless path became me and my wife's mantra. The pathless path became an energy I decided to follow. The pathless path became like a name of my book. And it was this omen in the sense that like I saw it, it showed me a new way of seeing and like giving myself permission to like release myself to that. And everything opened up from there. And whenever I am away from that feeling of pathlessness, things close up, things get tighter, things feel harder. I get stressed. And it's a reminder to come back to that.
Wow. That is a good omen. I love that. That's amazing. Okay, well, I'd like to end this conversation by reading a paragraph from
So
David
good.
White's book, Consolations, which is so good. Oh, by the way, before I forget, just hearing you talk about, I want to recommend a book to you after this conversation, which is Some by David Eagleman. Have you read it?
No,
It's
I'll definitely read it.
SUM. It's a
Nice.
series of short stories, very easy. It's good to just have on the nightstand, kind of similar to Constellations in a way, but I would really, if you enjoyed this conversation, I would check that book out too. Yes. Okay, so Consolations, this is from the word pilgrim, which I've been kind of obsessed with this word and the idea of like pilgrimage, because I'm doing this reach out challenge. I'm reaching out to one person every day for 100 days. Today's day 46. And I really feel like I'm on this. It's like I'm on the journey, and it's so much more about that than like any outcome that could come from it. And so this has like really been sticking through my mind as I've been on this journey. And maybe it will be helpful as you go on your sabbatical starting tomorrow. Um,
Awesome.
Okay. The great measure of the pilgrim journey of human maturation is the increasing understanding that we move through life in the blink of an eye, that we are not long with the privilege of having eyes to see, ears to hear, a voice with which to speak, and arms to put around a loved one, that we are simply passing through.
I love it. So good.
So good.
Have you read
So
his prose books?
no, I need to though.
Oh, they're actually better than
Really?
Constellations.
Okay, I'll toss this one out and get those.
He has three books. Um, Crossing the Unknown Sea, The Three Marriages, and um, The Heart Aroused.
What would you recommend based on this conversation that I read?
Crossing the Unknown Sea or The Three Marriages.
Okay.
Yeah, they're so incredible. They're perfect. Like they're just so good.
Have you ever reached out to him?
I have. Um, yeah, I applied to interview him, but yeah,
Oh,
I didn't hear back.
probably busy.
The silence. I must sit with the silence.
You must. You must. Thank you for this. Meeting you was um, different than I thought it would be in a really nice way.
What did you think it would be?
Well, I think you said it really well about yourself, which is this idea of, like, taking your work seriously, but not yourself.
Yeah.
And I love how much of, like, a fool you are, and I wasn't sure that I get the privilege of seeing that side of you, so thank you.
Yeah. I think in text form, I think a lot of people read me as this like intense, like he's gonna debate me and like argue with me. Um, and I do see places like Twitter and Substack Notes as this like idea battle, and I do
Mhm.
take that
Yeah.
seriously. But like we're all just we're just screwing around. It's not that.
We're all just out here screwing around. If
Yeah,
really with
I'm
nothing else, let it be that.
I'm mostly just having fun and not taking myself seriously.
I love it. Amazing. Thank you so much. This is the best, and you are the best.
Awesome. Appreciate
Alright.
you.
You
Keep
too.
going.
You too.
Yeah. If you ever want to do like a guest post on my newsletter or
I
something, let me
do.
know.
I would love that.
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm not posting in the next like 2 months. So if you want to do a guest post, just do something.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna do something. Alright.
I might not respond to your email right away.
I'm gonna reply 5 times.
Awesome.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you everyone for
Thank
joining.
you.